Hey man, so it was my birthday last week. I turned 42, and we try not to make a big deal, at least about Mariah and I. We try not to make a big deal about the special days around here. But I was given some money as a present, and instead of doing the responsible thing and setting it aside, I blew it on fun stuff. And it's fun stuff that'll probably all work its way into videos here in the not too distant future. And I'm really excited about it, and I thought I'd show it to you. That's why we're shooting inside. I don't normally like to shoot inside. Sound is bad, background's not interesting, but I wanted to, I kind of wanted to show this stuff off while the first bloom was still on it. So hold on a second. And you can tell by the box. It's fun stuff. Alright. If you've watched the older videos, you've seen my my rifle, and I've talked about some of the things I wanted to do to it in the future. I've been wanting one of these for a while now. It's just an old GI rifle sling. A lot shorter than I remember them being in boot camp. And they were green back then too, and they weren't cotton, they were nylon. So I don't know, we'll see if it works. The main reason I wanted it was to make the hasty sling and that other sling that acts like a tourniquet and makes your arm fall off. I don't remember what it's called. I'll have to find out before we do the video. But I've been wanting one of these for a while. I haven't had a sling on my rifle at all. I know it's not a crazy 3-point weirdo hit, whatever the young people are carrying these days. It's just old and boring, but I'm old and boring. And a little older now that I've had a birthday. So you'll be seeing more of this, but I'm a little disappointed in the length. I had it on there and tried it out a little bit, and it looks like it'll make the slings like it's supposed to, but it wasn't hanging where I wanted it to and whatnot. So, but we'll play with it and we'll see. I think it's going to serve its purpose, and it was a good price. So that was the first thing. The most important one, we're going to save the least important for number 3 because it's the one I'm actually the most excited about. The most important, the biggest deal, is that I finally got my A2 buttstock. I've been wanting a solid buttstock. Well, before I ever put that rifle together, I wanted a solid buttstock. There was such a good deal on the collapsible stock lower at Palmetto State Armory when I got it. It was like $130 delivered for a complete lower. It was a blemish. For the life of me, I still haven't found the blemish on it. But it came with the collapsible stock, and I knew, once I had one with that stock on it already, it would be a long time before I ever got around to replacing it. And I finally was able to, with this birthday money, such a child, but with my birthday money I was able to buy a stock. I had it on there briefly earlier tonight. It really feels good. I mean, it adds about a ½ inch of draw length to the rifle. It really felt like a rifle's supposed to feel. Of course, it feels like a rifle that I trained with. I'm sure younger guys who trained with a different rifle or older guys who trained with a very different rifle would it wouldn't feel as good to them, but really felt good. Very first thing I did though was I bent my detent pin spring. I don't remember exactly what it's called. Everything you read about on how to take a stock on and off tells you don't bend the spring. I bent the spring first thing. So now I got to replace the spring. But that's alright. It's not a big deal. I'll get her done. So we're going to try to get this on this week. Our group has a range day scheduled for Sunday, and I would really like to have this set up and ready to zero by Sunday. That spring might hold me back, but I don't think so. I think I can jerry-rig a solution until I get one back in. But I'll let you guys know about that. But this I'm really, really, really excited about. Because, for no other reason, I've had this carbon length spring and buffer tube and buffer weight in there this whole time, with a 20-inch full length barrel and full length gas tube. Everything I've read says it doesn't affect anything, but in my mind I don't understand that. It has to affect something. It's a shorter spring, it's a lighter buffer, and it's a shorter stroke. It has to affect things. I don't understand how it couldn't. So even if it's just for my peace of mind, I feel much better that I now finally have a full-length rifle buffer tube and buffer spring to go along with my rifle gas tube and my full-length rifle barrel. But like I said, that may just be my craziness. But we're finally going to have this rifle close to where I want it. The only thing I think I'm lacking that I want for sure is a bayonet. And don't laugh at me. I'm sorry. I want a bayonet. I'm going to carry a knife anyway. Why wouldn't I carry a knife that gives me another little possible advantage? You know, one little more capability without any downside. There's no downside to carrying a bayonet. Would it ever be something you ever used? Yeah, maybe not. But if it came up, why wouldn't you? I mean, you know, why not have it? I don't understand why you wouldn't have it. I've got a bayonet lug on the rifle. It only makes sense to have a bayonet. Like I said, since I'm going to be carrying a knife anyway. I think I want the M7 bayonet. The M9, it looks kind of cool, but I think that M7's a little more, I don't want to say useful, but I think the M9 maybe is just a little too big and bulky. You know, maybe the M9 maybe just looks a little too much like a Rambo knife to me. I don't know. That's laughable. That I want, you know, something sleek and simple and useful and unostentatious, because the last present I got myself, and man, I'm not even a little bit ashamed of myself. I mean, I'm not even. Before when I was getting this and I was ordering it, and I was thinking about, you know, I'm going to end up putting it on a video. I know I am. I was a little ashamed of myself. I started watching other guys' videos about this thing, and I got a little bit more ashamed of myself. But then it got here today, and I picked it up and I held it for the first time. And there is no shame in my game, and this is quite possibly the coolest thing I've ever held in my hands. I got myself a Cold Steel Tomahawk. But not just anyone, I got the Rifleman. This is not my first Tomahawk. I've had them before. I've carried them on my gear before. I have never... This is an axe. This isn't a Tomahawk. I mean, this is an axe with a weird handle and a hammer on the back. This is a big, heavy, solid piece of gear. And I am so excited about getting to play with it and figure it out. And like I said, I'm not ashamed. I'm going to try to find a way to hang this on my Minuteman gear. Maybe it's not a small Tomahawk is always going to be useful. You know, it's a hatchet, for crying out loud. A hatchet's useful. I'm not acting like it's, you know, a weapon or anything, but it could be. This one might be just a little too big, but I'm still going to try to make it work, because a Tomahawk represents, to me personally, a Tomahawk represents kind of like a masculine ideal, sort of. You know, it makes you think of pioneers and frontiersmen and outdoorsmen, and you know, you think of Davy Crockett and the Indian fighters and Mel Gibson and the Patriot. You know, maybe it is a little bit of a symbol, but there's nothing wrong with having symbols. But we're gonna play with this a little bit. You know, we always talk about how we don't do product reviews. We will not do product reviews that we're not qualified to do. I might possibly be qualified to do a little review on a tree cutting implement. It's not completely outside of my area of expertise, but this is pretty much just for fun, and we're going to have fun with it. And I mean, boy, is it cool. I mean, I might sleep with this. This might stay in the bed for a few weeks. I have a bad habit of, you know, when I get a new toy, sometimes I just like to carry it around so much and I end up falling asleep with it. This might be one of those. I don't know. We'll see. I have a very long suffering life, and as I age, I try to make her suffering a little less long. But there we are, man. We had some fun stuff. We're going to get some videos out about this. We're going to spend some time on the rifle when we get it set up, because it's such a simple, versatile, useful setup. It's just the standard A2 setup. I don't know why the military ever went away from it, but especially for a basic infantryman like a militiaman and whatnot, I really think it's the best setup for a fighting farmer, as it were, for a citizen soldier. You know, I mean, yeah, there's other rifles could be better for more specialized purposes, but for an everyman rifle, I think the setup, the basic A2 setup is, that's really good. So we'll be talking about that a little bit more, playing with the sling and whatnot, and then we're going to get out and have some fun with the Tomahawk. I'm going to see if I can still remember how to throw these. I used to be pretty good at throwing them, but the one I used to have was nowhere near this size. It was probably 6 inches shorter, and it wasn't half this weight. So we're going to have some fun. Hey, thank you, man.